My girlfriend outed me to my family, and now I'm scared it changed how my dad sees me forever. Posted by you/firefighter odd 7228. I'm 24M and she's 31F. I'm bisexual, but it's not something I talk about, especially not with family. Admittedly, I've never had a public boyfriend or what could be described as a relationship with a man. As far as my family knows, I'm straight. My girlfriend and I have been together for 2 years, and I only recently introduced her to my family. On the last day of our visit to my parents, we were all outside around the fire. Some people, including my girlfriend, were drinking wine. That's when she made a comment about me being bisexual. Everyone heard. I froze up in that moment and gave her a look. She laughed it off, played with my hair, and kept talking. Luckily, it came across as a joke to most of my family. But not my dad. His demeanor that night changed, and the morning before I left, he was being distant. I just know he's thinking about what she said. It's really messing with my head. To give you a bit of an idea about him, he's very rigid/conservative. I started modeling some years ago, and he's had a hard time with that. When I went to Europe for work and he saw some of the editorials my mom showed him, he hated the looks, and I became very selective about what I shared. I'm back in my city now, and I live with my girlfriend. I'm so angry at her, but she claims it was a slip-up from being drunk. Personally, no amount of alcohol would have me outing someone in front of their family. She only had 1 glass of wine. Instead of apologizing, she's focusing on how I should just distance myself from my family if they won't accept me. Am I the jerk for hanging on to this? My girlfriend thinks I'm being immature and holding on to a grudge. Edit to add, my girlfriend knows I'm bi. I do disclose to partners. I just don't disclose publicly. I think it's unnecessary and not anyone's business who I'm attracted to, except the people I'm involved with. My girlfriend also knew I wasn't out to family, and even though she only met them recently, she knew how they are. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. There are 2 things you said that give me pause. She's not sorry. She said you should distance yourself from your family if they can't accept you. It's not up to her to make that choice for you, and it seems like, admittedly very well done, manipulation. She's trying to isolate you from your family while making it seem like you made that choice, despite her having outed you and making things tense. I can't say for sure she's manipulating you, but having grown up with that crap, it's setting off alarm bells in my mind. Not the jerk, but keep your eyes and ears open to what she says, how she says it, and what she does regarding all your other relationships. Anyone close to you being pushed away needs to be recognized by you before you end up all alone with just her as your support network. Commenter 2. While accidents happen, she's not the least bit sorry and is prepared to blame your family. She's a jerk. Also, maybe your dad is irritated that he found out from someone who is almost a stranger instead of hearing directly from his son. Being the last to know about something important is irritating. Ops response. I understand. I think it's how she's been handling it that's bothering me and preventing me from dropping it. No apology, no acknowledgement, just wanting me to start distancing myself from my family. I would have liked to tell my parents, including my dad, myself, in my own way, in a way he would understand. Now he's just thinking about it himself, probably in some twisted way that isn't true. It's just been weighing heavily on me. Update 11 days later. I wanted to thank everyone for reading and responding to my situation. I tried to have a healthy conversation with my girlfriend to communicate how I felt, but it wasn't getting anywhere. Why is it so difficult to acknowledge a mistake and apologize? She said she's stressed out about work, and instead of being a support to her, I'm adding to her stress by being hung up on this issue. It's not that I am hung up on it, she refused to, at any point, let me express anything. It stretched out our conflict, which could have been resolved in one meaningful discussion. Even during this conversation, she walked away from me, so I decided to take a shower. When I got out, I was using the hair dryer. I couldn't hear that well over the thing, and sometimes you think you heard something, but it's nothing. But after a few seconds, I turned it off to listen. It was definitely like a scream/yell. Immediately, I went to the kitchen. She had dropped some glasses and had cut her foot. She was sitting on the floor. I helped her. She told me she's just overwhelmed and has too many things to think about lately. After a few minutes, the bleeding had pretty much stopped, but she insisted on having me take her to the ER. I told her she'd be waiting for hours for nothing, she didn't need stitches. This is when she just exploded. We were still on the floor. She pulled her hands out of mine and slapped me. It was so fast. My face was close to hers when it happened. I didn't see it coming. She just started yelling at me to get away from her and saying, "You really don't care, you took so long to come because you've been holding a grudge against me," referring to the incident at my parents', and some other stuff. I comforted her until she calmed down. She's never done anything like this before. And I guess when she hit me, she ended up scratching my face with her nail, and it was bleeding a little. I hadn't noticed, but she did, and she apologized and wanted to take me into the bedroom to clean the blood and put ointment on it. I told her it was fine, But she got really fixated on taking care of me and started getting upset again because I said it was fine, so I gave in. The next day, she posted on Instagram stories a photo of her foot in a bandage. I didn't think anything of this post, but this weekend I learned she had cancelled some plans with friends, claiming we had an incident. But I think she made it seem like I did something wrong? The reason I think this is because one of her friends that I'm working on a project with said something like, resorting to violence is a red flag. I asked him to explain what the F that means, he refused to clarify. I talked to my girlfriend about it, but she's pleasant with me, fusses over my scratch, barely even there anymore, and says she doesn't know what the friend was talking about. She even apologized for how she handled what she said in front of my family. I feel like a jerk now. I know this felt long-winded, but I didn't know how else to explain why I feel so emotionally exhausted. I'm starting to realize that maybe I was too focused on my own fear of what my family overheard that night that I stopped paying attention to everything else. About my dad, since my last update, I also reached out to my dad and asked him if anything that was said the night before I left made him feel a certain way and if he wanted to talk about it with me. He said he was confused by what she said. I'm bisexual? What's that supposed to mean? I'm glad we had a conversation. I think it was the first of many we're going to have in the future, and although it didn't feel as cathartic or even much of a relief like I thought it would, we ended on a note that felt like at least we could have more talks. Personally, I just hate labels and having to explain sexuality to anyone. But I understand that in the long run, it's probably a good thing to be open with family. I'm trying. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Totally got the vibe it was a setup. She likely threw the glasses on the floor deliberately and then realized he can't hear her over the hairdryer. Then she resorted to screaming and yelling so he would come out and see her in distress and feel guilty. He probably lives in her apartment. It sounds like she's been using people around him to influence him and control him. That's diabolical. Op sounds brainwashed. I hope reading these comments creates room for a reality check. Op's response. I do live in her apartment. I'll think about this more. To explain my feelings a little, when she eventually apologized, I felt like she had come around, and we had a breakthrough in our communication, and that maybe I was selfish for not realizing she was struggling too. I somehow missed how stressed she's been. It sounds like you guys see her actions in a way that's more different, like she's being manipulative. I was taking everything at face value. I still don't see it the way you do, but I'm trying to. I'm going to run back through events and try to wrap my head around it. Thanks for the perspective. It's different from the advice I've been getting from friends. Then again, she and I have all the same friends. Maybe that's the problem too. Commenter 2. When did you guys meet? You were 22 when you got together, right, and she was 29? But, when did you first actually encounter her? Op's response. I met her when I was 18, when I got signed, but we didn't date or anything. I switched agencies shortly after because it wasn't a good fit. Commenter 3. You were groomed. Men get groomed too. She was nearing 30 at the time you were 18. She used your lack of experience in the industry, and in life in general, against you, and you have no idea because you think it was simply not a good fit, when it could have been just a way for her to be able to date you. I'm guessing you got sent overseas, and that's where you two got together, right? Please take the advice and comments here seriously. People are having strong reactions because she's a horrible person who's only going to get worse, and they're trying to get you to wake up. Share this situation with someone you trust, maybe your parents. It has to be someone outside the friend circle since your friends are her friends. How did that happen? Again, wake up. She has isolated you in ways you don't even realize yet. But you will. You have to get away first. And not to alarm you, but another thing to keep in mind, do not let her get pregnant. Second update 2 days later. Your comments have been overwhelming, but I'm taking them to heart. I appreciate the stories you've shared with me, they are what help the most. I told someone this in a DM, but if it weren't for the personal experiences that were shared with me, I think I would have stayed. It was really hard not to argue against the advice I was initially receiving. I can't explain why exactly I felt this strong compulsion to go on the defensive, but I am starting to realize my perception is very distorted. It's something I'm still struggling with a lot, and it feels like I need constant reminders, reality checks, to hold on to the understanding I've gained. Because there is a lot of concern being expressed, I just wanted to come on and share that I am okay, don't worry about me. I am trying to come up with an exit strategy, but it's complicated. I mostly just wanted to reassure you and thank you.